Finding love on MASH inspired me to look for other ways to be happy. So I took a new job at Big Wireless. These guys torture people on a whole other level. I'm learning so much. Is this customer service?
Because there is none.
He's been a real addition to the team. Prices are up, hold times have doubled, and some fees are so hidden, we can't even find them.
It's not just the painfully long contracts that makes this place feel like home. It's the culture.
Guy could get a job anywhere he wants. DMV, IRS, Congress. We were really lucky to get him here.
We've been having some issues with people switching to Mint Mobile. He was all over it.
Mint Mobile gives people premium wireless for just $15 a month. Instead of dropping our prices, let's raise our prices and use that money for an ad campaign attacking Mint. It's a win-win for us. I mean, we win twice. Am I happy? Yes. This place is hell on earth. Big Wireless people are my kind of people. Literally. I bought all of their souls.
So the commercial I selected was mintmobile.com, and it was the dream job commercial, where we have our buddy Satan here talk about his experience at Big Wireless. And you know, it's kind of interesting too. You see his little nameplate back here, the devil, but that V is highlighted because you know one of the big wireless companies we usually think of is like Verizon. So that little kind of piece is in there too, which I thought was kind of neat, and it's really easy to miss that detail. But you know, it's pretty obvious what they're talking about throughout this commercial. So really the narrative, you know, we just saw the video, so we start off really with Satan coming out and really talking to the viewer, being interviewed, and you know, just describing how happy he is with his new job and how he's even able to elevate his particular skill set working for this company, you know, and when you're not talking to Satan, you know, you get this really picture of this pretty standard office building with these pretty standard office workers. And, you know, even though they don't look obviously like evil like Satan does, they still do some pretty evil things. So, you know, this, as far as the persuasion, I mean, I think this really relies heavily on pathos, because we already feel that these big corporations are evil. And, you know, this just kind of plays to those feelings. But also, I think ethos, too, because, you know, if there's one expert on how to torture people and how to be not nice to people, I think it would be Satan. So we tend to trust him when he says that this company does evil things, because he probably knows the most about that. And the setting is interesting, too. It's this typical office building. But the one interesting I did kind of notice is, you know, when we see Satan just at his desk, it's an office cubicle. You know, and most people in the corporate world, you know, everybody wants an office because it's a better environment. You know, hopefully you've got a window too. But this office worker, Satan, you know, Lord of the underworld, is sitting in a cubicle. I mean, that's even more evil that this corporation is doing, not just to its customers, but to the people that work there. But when we go see the executives, they've got nice big windows, you know, they've got nice offices. When we're in their conference room, we see this wonderful cityscape behind them with lots of natural light, you know, just increasing the idea that this company is just evil. You know, the characters, of course, we have Satan. You know, he's obvious, very memorable, and very charismatic, and you know, I think in the end we kind of like him. He's very genuine. We expect him to be evil, and he is. So I think there's not as much to dislike about him as there are these normal seeming people who have these evil, you know, job titles like VP of fee hiking. You know, and you know, we all kind of make up in our mind these, you know, big companies are evil and they're doing things like this, and this just confirms it, you know, and they're seemingly ordinary people. This guy here, he's not obviously evil, until you listen to him talk and find out what his title is. So those are the kind of the overall the characters that are used in this commercial. Jason's the same thing, and so to talk about dialogue a little bit more, I think that's the other kind of insidious piece to this company is everything seems normal until you really listen to what's going on, and it's like super evil. They obviously don't care about their customers, and they're doing everything they can to just get more money, which is all these things, so many of us just, really have a hard time with. But Satan, however, you expect him to say evil things, and that's what he says. So you begin to trust him, and he's not the bad guy anymore. It's this company. Because, if the devil himself is saying that, this big wireless company is evil, well, it must be. We also play on the viewer's knowledge, the idea that these big greedy corporations are bad, it really plays at that a lot, and that they don't care about customers at all. Obviously, if you've got a VP of fee hiking, you don't care about your customers. And it kind of draws that difference between, your typical big wireless. Again, we've seen that red right from Verizon, and the alternative Mint Mobile, who cares about you. This like a lot of commercials, this isn't about the product, it's about the company and how they treat people. And so that's really what's being sold. It's not necessarily that they're selling wireless. They're selling a better experience and a company that cares about you as a customer, and a company that's going to be reasonable in their fees, and not so much about the product at all, because the product's pretty much the same. So there's no difference there. It's harder to highlight that because it is just the same as you're going to get everywhere else. But their difference is how they treat you and how you feel about that company and how evil they are. So the effectiveness, I think they really did a really great job in highlighting how evil these big corporations are, and how we just feel like we're treated by especially big wireless, or like your electric company or places like that, where you don't really feel like you have a choice, or your cable company. Maybe you do have a choice to go to a different provider, but if you do, they're the same. So I think it really does good with that. However, I think that Satan becomes the star of this, and you remember him. Of course, it's hard not to. It's this big red dude, these huge horns, but you don't remember Mint Mobile as much. I mean, you actually see their logo one time, just scribbled out on the whiteboard. You never see it again, but you do see their mint color. But I think they could have done maybe a better job of highlighting themselves instead of just how bad this company is. They joked in this that, instead of dropping their prices, they're going to increase their prices and use that revenue to put into a marketing campaign to slander the other company. But that's kind of what we did here. We spent a bunch of money to make this commercial to slander all these other big companies like Verizon. So I think they could have done a better job in really talking about themselves and making sure that you can recognize them from this commercial, because Satan just overshadows everything so much. But that's my commercial.